עיר דביר הוא מנכ"ל חברת אגרו-ווינג, הנושא שעליו הוא ידבר, מסאט ל-AI.
Hi, my name is Dvir, and I'm the CEO and the co-founder of Agro-Wing, and I'm here today to present to you how disruptive multispectral sensor technology can take the good old NDVI remote sensing to the next step of precision agriculture, aerial precision agriculture based on AI. Now let's go first to understanding the problem. The problem in agriculture is that there are great damages to crops because of pests and diseases. And if you look at the slide, you can see the numbers which are overwhelming. The losses due to pests and diseases could be of 21.5% in wheat, and potatoes 17.2%. We're talking about losses of over $40 billion per year in the US alone. Now, let's go to the basic and understand what growers and service providers really need. First of all, they don't care about technology. The thing that they really need is actionable data, which means they want to know if there is something wrong in the field, and if there is something wrong, where exactly is it in the field, and what they have to do about it. Now, is precision agriculture in that sense precise? Definitely not. So what can we do? Let's take a look now at something that was taken, some research of the Padua University in Italy. And you can see on the left side, you can see the satellite, 2 meters per pixel resolution. On the right side, taken with the Agro-Wing's lowest range of a sensor of about 2 centimeters per pixel. You can see the difference in terms of the details that you see compared from the satellite to the UAV imagery. Still, this is sort of like, let's say, gossip, sort of general idea. But when we go back to the basics of the science, I don't know if some of you heard about Sir Arthur Eddington, but he gave an example of an ichthyologist that was examining the fish in the sea, throwing the net to the sea. And he came up with a conclusion that no sea creature is less than 2 inches long. The conclusion of Sir Eddington was that there are plenty of sea creatures under 2 inches long, only your net is not adapted to catch them. And this is actually the situation with aerial remote sensing today. Let's look at this picture. On the left side, we can see a satellite, the UAV resolution of NDVI map, which is downsampled, resolution of 2 centimeters per pixel. In the middle, we see the same kind of NDVI map with a full resolution pixel per pixel. This is the kind of data which gives you some idea about what's going on in the field, but you cannot get anything which is really accurate. On the right side, you can see 1 millimeter per pixel, which is taken from a multispectral sensor, where you can see some details about the vegetation, understand exactly what's going on there, something that you can really analyze using AI techniques. Now, in order to be even more clear about what's going on with the resolution that we are talking about, resolution sounds like numbers, but practically speaking, on the left side you can see a single pixel which was taken from a satellite, like the Sentinel, which is 2 meters per pixel, and for 2 by 2 meters, which is 4 square meters, you actually get 1 single pixel. If you look at the same size or the same area, using the resolution of 1 centimeter per pixel, some of the state-of-the-art sensors in the market used by UAVs are giving this kind of resolution, you get some vague idea about the vegetation, but it's far better, of course, than what you get with the satellite. On the right hand, however, you can see that the resolution of 0.5 millimeter per pixel, this was taken by one of our sensors from 3 meters altitude. In that case, you can apply AI techniques in order to understand exactly first-order impression of what you have in the vegetation. Now, here is a sample of the same field, the same kind of blight in potatoes, analyzed using AI techniques. On the right side, you can see that unlike the RGB picture on the left, on the right, you can see the clear signature, the multispectral signature of blight, which gives you a very clear way of doing machine vision, machine learning, and taking huge steps towards autonomous precision agriculture. Now, the problem is, how do you get to scan a full field in the resolution of 0.5 millimeter? Because if you do this just from low altitude, you'll end up with terabytes for each 100 hectares, something which is completely impractical. So what we suggest is the following. There is a drone flying high altitude, scanning the whole field. After scanning the whole field, we go back to the good old NDVI process, and we find that there are three outlying areas in this case. We mark the areas in the field and then send a drone to take low altitude, close range, multispectral imagery of these areas. Then, when you have this picture in hand, which is multispectral, you can analyze it using multispectral techniques. Next. Now, we are now collecting with our sensors the first multispectral bank of pests and diseases, something that does not exist anywhere, because most of the sensors in the market cannot take high-resolution imagery, multispectral imagery of the vegetation. Now, combining all this data with the satellite information and weather forecasts and all kinds of models, you can get a very robust system in order to have something that is really effective for the growers and service providers. However, the problem was, how do you capture close-range multispectral imagery with most of the sensors are based on multi-cameras? There's a problem for alignment of parallax, synchronization, bad optics. So we designed, this is patented design of sensors, both in the States and in the EU. A sensor that is where we have the lenses are very adjacent to each other, very close to each other. And since we are using a single sensor with multiple lenses, and we add also the technology of multiband pass filters, we solved most of the problems which are typical to multispectral sensors while having a very high dynamic range for these sensors. We can work, for example, with a unique. And the second sensor that we have, this one is of 10 bands. We got a prize in the Commercial UAV Expo last October in the US for it. And we also have a sensor of 14 bands, which is really of far, far ahead of anything else in the market. We are talking, in this case, this is 8 megapixels per band. The 10-band sensor is of 12 megapixels per each band, which means you get very extremely high resolution, multi-bands, narrow bands, which allow you to do something taking a quantum leap in the terms of the analysis of vegetation. We are working closely with some of the leading institutes, academic institutions in the world, like the Rochester Institute of Technology, Israeli Technion, of course, and Migal, also in the Israeli Galilee, and Regal is one of the leading companies using our sensor. Citri is a great Israeli company doing wonders in citrus in California and Brazil with our sensors. And we are open to cooperations with the academic institutions and the leading companies. Thank you very much.